Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
JC Mateo defeated Jimmy Uso.
Giulia defeated Zelina Vega and became the new Women's United States Champion.
Andrade and Rey Fenix defeated DIY.
The Street Profits defeated the Wyatt 6 via DQ.
Tiffany Stratton defeated Nia Jax in a last woman standing match to retain her WWE Championship. Now, if you'd like to know how she did that, power outage causes blackout.
Bliss and Flair could be besties.
Jimmy and Jacob could be besties.
And Punk goes Punkanomics.
The QB kicks us off, and just as he's about to speak, out slithers the Viper. Orton congratulates Rhodes on having a great match with Jay on Raw, and then nothing, as apparently there was a power outage at the arena. It said about half an hour, but it felt like forever. When the power is restored, we come back to Wade Barrett and Michael Cole apologising for the delay. So that's twice now that Cody's been out in the middle of the ring and said nothing, this week and last.
We pick up backstage with JC Mateo taping his wrists when Solo appears and tells him that they'll give Jimmy one more opportunity to come back to the family and to remind him what it's like to have nobody and no backup, adding that after this weekend everyone will see we're just getting started.
So first up, Jimmy Uso versus JC Mateo. JC with Solo, of course, at ringside. It's all JC to begin with until he's tossed out the ring and Jimmy lines up a dive to the outside. Only as he's approaching the ropes, Solo goes full Jedi, stopping Jimmy with the Force. Solo tries to seduce Jimmy to the dark side, but we hit a break, come back, and we're back in the ring.
A JC standing moonsault nets him a 2 count, with Jimmy then fighting back and diving out the ring at Mateo. Jimmy throws JC back in the ring, but as Jimmy gets on the apron, Solo grabs his foot. Jimmy's able to wiggle free, climb to the top rope, leap off, miss his move, and then suffer Tour of the Islands. Mateo then covers and picks up the win.
After the match, Solo helps Jimmy up and then asks him if he's ready to come back. Jimmy answers by slapping Solo, with JC then attacking Jimmy. Of course, out comes Fatu, running into the ring and pop-up Simone dropping JC before he eyes up Solo. Solo doesn't fancy it, so escapes the ring, with Fatu moonsaulting JC. Jimmy and Fatu look at one another, with Jimmy then pushing Fatu aside and super kicking Solo as he was about to attack Jacob from behind. JC and Solo then scuttle away, back up the rampway.
Backstage we see DIY claiming they're the leaders of the tag division, with all the other tag teams laughing at their claims. It culminates in Ciampa saying that if the Wyatts win tonight, then not one of them has a chance of winning the tag titles in the foreseeable future. Nick Aldis then appears with DIY complaining to him about giving the Wyatts a tag title shot and asking him to do something about it. Nick agrees he will and then beckons over Andrade. He tells Andrade to find himself a tag partner so he can take on DIY later.
We have vignettes from Giulia and Zelina Vega next, with Giulia saying she'll prove the US title doesn't belong to her and that it's just a stepping stone. Vega says that if she wants the title, she'll have to pry it from her cold, dead hands. She didn't actually say hands, she said cold, dead body, but hands is the correct term.
Up next, Zelina Vega versus Giulia for the United States Championship. Zelina coming down with a snake-like costume type thing on. We begin with exchanges pins and...
I thought it was the Viper.
We begin with exchanged pins and the two then knocking each other down with a kick. We end up out the ring with Vega moonsaulting Giulia and then hit a break, only to come back to see Giulia dominating Vega back inside the ring.
We end up back outside with Vega managing to throw Giulia into the ring steps and then follow up with a Meteora. They re-enter the ring with Vega taking down Giulia, throwing her into the corner and then double kneeing her in the back before landing a Meteora from the middle rope and covering for 2. Vega goes high again, but Giulia catches up to her and brings her down with a double underhook superplex.
Giulia goes for her finisher, but Vega fights out and hits Code Red. Giulia reaches the ropes with her feet to break the count. Vega goes high again and misses a moonsault, which allows Giulia in. 2 knees to Vega's head, a Northern Lights bomb, and then cover for Giulia get her the win. Giulia is the new US champion.
I think we said that, didn't we, at the end of SmackDown?
Yeah.
No, Raw.
Musings. We had
Go
little
watch it.
predictions.
We had little predictions because there was 3 titles on the line. Was it 3 titles? Yes. And we said Giulia might win.
Yeah.
I don't know what Vega was doing wearing Randy Orton down to the ring. It's a little bit weird, but hey ho. Michael Cole then confirms that SmackDown will be dropping back to 2 hours from next week. Thank goodness. There's a lot of filler in these. You know, I know it's 3 hours, we have to fill it out, and it's just dribbled off. Oh dear.
Backstage we see Flair telling Bliss she doesn't need friends, with Bliss saying it seems she needed her help. Bliss adds, "I'm not trying to be your friend, it's more allies of convenience."
That needs to be a tag team. We hear from Jade Cargill and Asuka next with an in-ring interview with Wade Barrett. Wade asks Jade why she's confident. She replies because she sees an opportunity and a purpose, and at SummerSlam will not just be taking the title but the whole damn throne. Asuka replies that Jade is strong but power isn't everything, citing she has skills and experience and that nobody is ready for Asuka. Cue Naomi. She says she has all the power, i.e. the Money in the Bank briefcase, and can do whatever she wants.
Naomi threatens to cash in later after the Stratton Jax match, or maybe after the SummerSlam title match, with the crowd chanting, "Shut the fudge up," while she's walking down the rampway. Naomi says it'll bring her pure pleasure to think that she could ruin the biggest night of Cargill's career, and then gets on the apron and advises Cargill to proceed with caution.
Cargill's heard enough and pushes Asuka out of the way to get at Naomi, but Naomi's too quick and gets down, with Asuka then getting to her feet and beating up Cargill.
In the back, we see Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis having a chat about the women's tag titles when in walks Aleister Black. Black, I think, wants to redo his match from last week against Kit Wilson.
Nobody wants that.
If anyone's taking notes. When in storms R-Truth, who's still driving. Truth tells Black to back up and then demands a match against Cena. Aldis tells Truth that Cena is here for Punk, with Killings saying he's here for John Cena before storming off. Aldis and Pearce go back to Black. Amy Winehouse, anyone? But Black walks out after Truth.
Next up, DIY against Andrade and his mystery opponent, Rey Fenix. Just before the match begins, we learn that Legado del Fantasma won the AAA Tag Team Championships 2 weeks ago. But if you're a fan of AAA, then you'll already know that. We get a nice in-ring double team followed by a double crossbody to the outside from the new tag team, just as we hit a break.
We come back with DIY in control and taking it out of Fenix. Ciampa even getting a near fall after a knee to the back of the head. We then get an advert for the new Jurassic Park film, but we don't see it, we just hear it as we continue to watch the action, which is very odd. Anyway, back to the action. Fenix runs along the rope, kicking Ciampa and then tagging in Andrade.
Ciampa manages to reach Gargano with Andrade taking out both DIY members. Gargano goes for a slingshot spear, but Andrade catches him, drops an elbow to the back of his neck and then hits him with a reverse tornado DDT. No, me neither, never heard of that one, and covers for 2. Gargano manages to make it to his corner, bringing in Ciampa, with the 2 then hitting Shatter Machine and Ciampa covering again for 2.
Back from the break, Gargano tries a top rope move, but Andrade flips out of it and lands a running knees to Gargano before moonsaulting Johnny and covering for 2. The moonsault was a bit odd. Andrade landed on his feet after it, and because Gargano was directly underneath him, he just had to drop down and cover. We think Gargano hadn't rolled out of the way enough for Andrade to do his missed moonsault into standing moonsault.
Yeah, about right. We end up in the corner with Fenix tagging in and backflipping from the top rope and into a German suplex, bridging cover. Looked amazing, but only for 2. Gargano avoids the Mexican muscle buster and hits a poison rana on Fenix before tagging in Ciampa, with the pair then executing the fairy tale ending. Fenix kicks out on 2. Project Ciampa gets another 2 count, but only because Andrade made the save.
Andrade then deals with Gargano as Ciampa exposes his knee and runs at Fenix. Only Fenix dodges the impending attack and hits his Black Fire Driver, followed by a tagged in Andrade finishing Ciampa with the message and covering for the 1, 2, 3. Gargano at one point did hurt his knee/chin when he went over the top rope and crashed off the apron. Barrett said he caught the ring steps on the way down, but we never saw it, so can only go on what we've been told.
It was on the opposite side of the ring, so we don't actually know. And he did seem to be in a bit of pain, so I don't think he was playing about. I do think he hurt himself. Anyway, we see another yin-yang video package for Punk Cena, then come back to Cole and Barrett when a hooded figure walks in front of them and to the ring. Of course, it's R-Truth. He once again calls out Cena, but instead gets Black. Black drops him with Black Mass, adding he guesses they're even now.
Backstage, Byron Saxton asks the Street Profits what their game plan is, with Ford saying the last time they had gold was 4 years ago, and any tag team must be out of their mind to think they're going to take these tag team championships from them. Dawkins adds the Wyatt Six are the only threat they have, and that they're going to eliminate that threat when B-Fab walks up to them. Fab says she has their back if need be.
Just before the tag match, Black happens across Damian Priest, with Priest asking if Black feels really tough right now. Black says no, but if you really are Truth's friend, you'll tell him to stay away. But as far as he's concerned, his debt is paid. Priest tells him that next time he's looking for payment, why not do it to his face? Priest carries on, but the sound kept cutting out, so I think Priest was saying that things would have been different if it was face to face. Black replying saying, I'm sure it will be.
As Black walks off, Carmelo Hayes rolls up, saying to Priest if it was him, he'd mind his own business. He carries on with Priest telling him to walk away now. Hayes does, but adds the truth hurts.
So, the Street Profits versus Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy of the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Lumis attempts a cover when he's not even legal after tagging in Gacy, so clearly didn't heed our words from last week about practicing, and then leaves the ring for Gacy to come in and cover, with Dawkins breaking it up. All of a sudden, the other tag teams appear from the crowd and gather around the ring, as opposed to ensure the rest of the Wyatts don't intervene.
Dawkins enters the fray and takes it to Gacy, but Gacy manages to tag Lumis, who runs at the ropes. As he reaches them, Phantasma pull him out, with Dawkins following him and throwing him back in. As Angelo tries to get back in the ring, DIY grab him and pull him back out, but he fights them off. This brings over Legado, who attack Dawkins, which in turn brings out the referee calling for the bell.
As you can imagine, all the tag teams start brawling, with LDF and DIY taking out Gacy and Lumis before Rowan enters the ring and takes them out. This then brings in Fraxium and Motor City, who take out Rowan, with Howdy then entering the ring and dealing a Sister Abigail to Axiom. The Profits come back and take out Howdy, with Dawkins then jumping out at one lot of tag teams and Ford another lot. We end with the Profits staring off against Uncle Howdy. What a mess. And that's just us reading this.
In the parking lot, Jimmy and Jacob have a little chat saying that neither needed the other's help. Jimmy said it's about respect and that he should have stood up to Solo a long time ago. Fatu says if you just get in where you fit in, then they're going to be alright. The pair part with a mutual respect.
Final match of the night, Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax for the Women's WWE Championship. Jax attacks Stratton before the bell had even rung, with the fight then heading to the outside. Jax hits Stratton with the ring steps, and then Simone drops her onto the announcer's desk. I think we then break as we see Stratton crossbody Jax from the top rope and then land a swanton from the opposite corner.
Jax drops Stratton on an exposed turnbuckle for an 8 count, and then another 8 after attacking her outside the ring. Jax then splashes Stratton through a table that was set up at some point and gets a 9 count. We watch as Jax set up more tables, hit a break, and see Nia hitting Stratton with a chair in the ring and then annihilating her. Jax goes for another annihilator, laying a chair across Tiffy, and lands it, with the ref getting to a count of 9. Jax puts her down again with a kendo stick and then sets up a table in the ring.
Jax looks to Simone drop Stratton from the middle rope through the table, but Stratton wiggles free and powerbombs Jax through the table instead. This does for both women as the ref begins to count the pair. They both get up on 9, with Naomi then running out, briefcase in hand. While Naomi is handing the case to the ref, Stratton attacks her, gets the case and hits her and Jax with it, with Jax then being thrown onto Naomi before Stratton lands the prettiest moonsault ever to the pair.
Jax beats the count and then tries to suplex Stratton through some previously set up tables on the outside from the apron. Only Stratton escapes, hits Jax with the Money in the Bank briefcase and sends her crashing through the tables instead. This does it for Jax as she doesn't beat the count, with Stratton retaining her title.
To wrap up the show, we have John Cena. He says he's a winner and a genius, and that Punk can do nothing about it. John Cena's old music then rings out through the arena, basic Thuganomics. Punk Life dances across the huge screens at the top of the rampway, and out walks CM Cena.
Punk rips on Cena the way Cena used to tear into his opponents with rhymes and raps from back in the day. The Thuganomics era, shall we say. If you do get a chance to take a look, then do, but there's way too much said to type and write it. Punk mentions Hogan and The Undertaker as well as many, many other things. SmackDown went off the air with Punk stood on the crowd barrier and Cena looking more than annoyed.
Yeah, I just feel that I'm just glad it's going back to 2 hours next week. I just feel it drags sometimes.
Yeah.
Some segments you don't need. It's like, I don't need to see
Still
this.
just that bit too long.
But aside from that, Punk's rapping and rhymes on Cena were good. They didn't flow like Cena's used to do back in the day.
I think he stumbled
He stumbled a little bit, but he's had to remember. He's had to remember
Exactly.
this. He's had to learn it. He's done a good job. It was good. It was comedic.
Yeah.
I like that. You need that bit of light entertainment. It can't always be serious. I'm going to kill you. That's just that. As I said, and I've said many times before, the E is entertainment.
Yeah,
You do not get entertained all the time by somebody saying, "I'm going to smash your face in." Sometimes it's all right. Sometimes it doesn't need it. You need that comic relief. That's why I'm glad they kept R-Truth.
Yes. Yeah.
Even though he's gone serious.
Yeah.
But apart from that, just...
Yeah, I mean, obviously the beginning where it just
Oh.
cut off, like...
We're watching it, and then was like, oh, perhaps it's the...
Have you paused
yeah,
it?
Is it a connection? Nothing. Fast forward, rewind, nothing. Yeah, anyway.
That was a bit of a mess up, wasn't it?
That's not good. And there was a few other blips as well. You thought, when the Wyatt Six used to do some freezing of the screen, or there was a few of those little blips on the screen, little glitches, and it was like, I said, and then there was Priest was talking, and it was either something he said that was bleeped out, or it was just muted, I don't know. Don't understand what was going on, but anyway, if you've got any thoughts, stick them in the comments down below.
Don't forget to check out our Musings video with thoughts and opinions of the last week of WWE, because a new one drops every Wednesday.
Once again, thank you for watching.
And we'll see you Sunday for Night of Champions and Tuesday for Raw.